picture, I always try and make eye contact and just say, thank you, I really appreciate that, whatever it is. And I try and give them a reason also why I've taken the shot. The thing is, when we're attracted to taking a picture of somebody on the street, it's usually for some reason. They're usually, it's because they're wearing an amazing hat, they have a beautiful face, they've got incredible clothes on, they've got really cool shoes, what do they do? They're playing the saxophone, whatever it is that they're doing that drew your attention. 9 times out of 10, that thing that attracted you to them is something that that they're proud of. They like this hat they bought and they wear it walking down the street. So, if you say, I like your hat, that's really cool, I love your sunglasses, or you have a beautiful face, or I love this really cool beard, or whatever it is that, I love your tattoos, whatever it is that attracted you to that photo in the first place, most people were going to be, oh, cheers, that's great, So a lot of the time it's about being a decent human being. The other thing is not being kind of sneaky with it. There are 2 schools of thought in doing candid photography. There's the school of thought that says that, if you get sort of right up in someone's face and take sort of shots from like a meter or 2 away from them, they're more likely to kind of see that as a threatening behaviour, that you're kind of in their space. So therefore, you should step back a little bit and then use a longer lens. What we talked about focal lengths before, something up around 90 mil, 100 mil, 130 mil, rather than say 24 mil or 35. But the thing with that is that that's fine until you do get caught. And so if you're the person that's hid in the bushes with a telephoto lens taking pictures, that's much, much harder. I want to be up to explain, right? I mean, that just feels like you're being a creepy weirdo. Why are you all the way over there? Are you surveillance? Are you police? Are you sort of some sort of dodgy character? What's your motivation for doing that? Whereas if you're up in the scene, you're taking pictures, you're part of the scene. You're being open about what you do. A lot of it, it's about how you act. It's how you present yourself as well. Dress. Don't sort of have clean clothes on. Sort of dress nice. I mean, you don't have to put a suit on or anything, but don't dress like a creepy weirdo. Because then you'll look like one. And so people kind of respond to that side of things. Obviously, there's common sense. I mean, if you are shooting somewhere in the world where it's more dangerous, you need to take a common sense view about whether or not it's the right thing to take your camera out. If you're shooting in some, sort of dangerous, sort of favela or somewhere, or some sort of, really dodgy area of a city where that the camera gear in your bag is probably the equivalent of a year's wages for some of the people that are living there, and there are high murder rates and all that kind of stuff. And unless you've got minders with you or you really know the area, but if you're just a tourist and you're off the beaten track and you're down there and you don't really know what you're doing and you don't feel confident in that situation, then I'd recommend, sort of not doing that. There are plenty of pictures that you can take in the world that don't require you to be shot in order to get the picture. There's very few pictures that you take on your holiday that are going to end up in an exhibition in MoMA. So, the reality is it's going to go on your Facebook page and get, 17 likes. Is that worth being shot? Yeah. So there's that aspect of it. But, it is really about, and I've taken, I don't know how many thousands of street shots, and I don't know how many people have been through the workshops, but I don't know anybody that's been punched or stabbed or murdered or anything like that. Or if they have been murdered, they've not told me about it. So most of the time it's about being nice and it's about being friendly, being a normal human being, just being your regular, normal, friendly human being. And occasionally, once in a blue moon, somebody might ask you to delete the picture. I always do. That's never been a problem. Occasionally I'll go out with a film camera and you have to explain to people that you can't delete the picture because it's filmed, but you promise not to use it and so forth.
If you're going abroad by plane, boat, or the family car, if you're going abroad for pleasure or business, there's one essential thing to do before you go. Check the expiry date on your European Health Insurance card. You can renew it up to 6 months before it expires. Visit nhs.uk/healthcare abroad or call 0845 606 2030. Bon voyage!
Checking it out before you check in on the John Guinn Travel Show on ukhealthradio.com. Throughout the conversation so far with Matt, he's mentioned workshops that he holds. It's a chance for you to get tips on how to improve your photography, look at things in a different way, You think, oh yeah, perhaps if I take my photograph like that, it'd be much better. And there's nothing like having somebody to tell you that rather than trying to pick it up from a book or a YouTube video. So, where does Matt hold his workshops?
So we hold workshops in the UK and in Greece. So you can come along and learn photography. We do a bunch of different styles. The next one we're doing is a photojournalistic sort of study from. It's a road trip that we're doing from Thessaloniki down to Athens via Meteora. So you can come along to that from the 11th to the 22nd of April. Really limited spaces. I think we've got like 2 or 3 spaces left available on that one. And you are going to be learning how to tell a story in pictures as you go about the real Greece, the stuff you don't necessarily see in the news, and, in the tourist brochures, what's under the story of that, but touching on some of the stuff that is in the news and the tourist brochures as well, because people want to see that stuff, but really peeling away the layers of the onion that is Greece. It's a fascinating country. You
said you've got a couple of spaces. Are these large groups or small groups, or does it just depend on what the subject is?
They're really small. The maximum we will ever have on any of the holidays is 10 people, because there's, when you're learning photography, you for a start, you want time with the teacher to kind of like have them give you the time that you need. You also want the time at any location to make sure that everybody can take the pictures that they want before they move in. And also a lot of the stuff, we have a sort of tagline, which is travel like a local. And we're all about going and hanging out and making friends with people. Quite often we get invited back to have, dinner with people, or to see someone's house, or to just kind of hang out with them for a bit, or go down the pub with them and that kind of stuff. And so if you rock up mob-handed with, 30 photographers, it makes that a lot harder. So we keep the group super small, super personal and friendly, and that's just the way we roll.
So you keep things friendly. Does that mean you give tactful feedback, or you're just straight and honest about what somebody's done and what needs improving? I'm
always honest, but I'm always fair, and so it's a balancing act. People are there to learn. I always ask people, if they want feedback, if they want critiques or not. What we do is we have an evening after we've been out shooting for the day. We'll have an evening critique session where we'll go through everybody's work. But once it's gone through, there's no pressure to have that done if you don't want to. But if you want the work to be critiqued, I'll go through it, and I will give then sort of bespoke homework for people to focus on for next day's shooting. So if the general trends through with their photography that they're not getting the horizon line through, or they're getting good street shots, but it's not quite that sort of decisive moment, I'm trying to get people to focus on focusing on looking at what the expression is and getting the shutter ticked at the right time, or whatever it is. So you're always trying to give constructive feedback. I'm never going to say to someone that sell your gear, you're no good, give it up, take up knitting, mate, this is not for you. But the flip side is that if there's something there in your pictures that I think you can improve, I will give you that as a task to do for the next day if you're up for taking the critique. So what do you include in the price? So you get the accommodation, and you get the workshops, and you get the critiques and everything in the evening. It's depending on the length of the thing. So the next trip is 12 days. So you get like 12 days of workshops and accommodation for like 1,600 quid. So it's pretty good value for money, really. You said that you're doing a sort of telling a story on your next trip. So are your trips accessible, or is there some limitations because of the terrain you're covering? I would say that for this one particularly, you need to be not monster fit. We're not going to be doing like any serious kind of like, mad hiking or anything like that, but there will be clambering about over rocks. There will be, going up to Meteora, which are these sort of monasteries that are up sort of, you will have to climb up mountains. It's like, there are paths that you walk up and stuff. It's not rock climbing, but you need to be in okay shape to do a day walking around, carrying a camera on your back and that kind of stuff. So, to give you an idea, Chrissy, who's from the travel company side of it, she's got a dodgy knee at the moment, and she's going to be fine sort of climbing up these things. So it's not going to be something where you need to be a super athlete or anything like that. But if you're worried about being able to spend all day on your feet walking around, and you think maybe your health isn't up to that stage, then I'd probably recommend going on one of the gentler things, maybe the shorter break in Athens or something like that, where although there is walking to be done, it's more in like a city environment. It's not quite so rugged.
phone call. I want to call my family.
Too late now.
Please, please, please.
Step through now, please.
Oh, no.
Too late now.
Here's the goods. You take them in false bottom bag, you strap them to your body, it's up to you.
Look, I've changed my mind. I want out.
Too late now.
So, you're offering me a free holiday?
Yeah,
I just have to bring back something for a friend of yours.
that's right. You get some serious cash.
Right.
Well,
Not too late. Don't get talked into trafficking drugs. Once you're in, the British government can't get you out. Don't throw your life away.
You can follow me on Twitter at holiday_hut. There's an old joke, how do you know somebody's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll soon tell you. I've probably said that as many times on this show as I have said I'm a vegan. But I am, and I'm very interested in food, as my body shape demonstrates. I was once in Dominica and a woman said that I couldn't have my dietary requirements because I'm so I finished the word sentence for her. I said fat, but that's what she meant. But she said, oh, no. Not all vegans are skinny. Some are slightly overweight. If you call 4 stone slightly overweight, I called it cuddly. But anyway, if I was to go on one of Matt's photography workshops, I want to know if I'm going to be fed, because some of the workshops have a few meals included. So that's the next question I put to Matt. I've been on your website and I looked at some of your tours, and some of them have some meals included. I'm a very fussy eater being a vegan, but do you cater for people with specific diets, and how much notice do you need if somebody is as awkward as me?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's with the meals that are included on some of the trips. You know, we're really lucky because Chrissy has a house in Athens, and so you know, when we're staying out there, we're staying in like a family home. So some of the meals that are included are literally because we're sitting around and breaking bread together at the end of the day's shoot, which is really lovely. So in terms of, you know, if you say you're a vegan or you've got particular allergies, you know, it's normally a question of we just go down the shops and we shop and we find something tasty to make for dinner, and maybe you have something that's slightly different, or we cook something that everybody can eat. So that's never a problem. And then most of the meals we're eating out. So you know, everybody can kind of select what they want from the local tavernas and so forth that we're eating in. So there's normally a good selection to grab out there. Nobody sort of excluded from that point of view.
If you can see my figure, you know that food's very important to me.
Yeah, and it's so important to the Greeks as well. I mean, you won't eat bad food out there. I mean, it's just so delicious. You probably know, I'm sure you've been out. And so, you know, there's always just tasty God to be had. And one of the nice things about, I mean, I always try and incorporate, and same with Chris as well, whenever we're doing these kind of things, we always try and incorporate, you know, food and eating together, because as well as having lovely, tasty Greek food, it's just an opportunity to get to know the group. And, you know, whoever we're hanging out with at the time, it might be that we've got local photographers hanging out with us, or, you know, friends that we've got out there in Greece who are coming over for dinner with us. So it's just a lovely occasion where everybody can sit down and have a laugh, have a drink, have some food. And so it's that really social and connecting, bonding thing that is breaking bread together, and we're big on that as much as doing the photography and the leaping about and crazy stuff, you know.
Out of all the workshops you offer, what would be the ideal one for somebody who's going to be going on a family holiday in a few months or a few weeks' time, and they want to make sure they really take great pictures?
I would say that either the Athens or Limnos ones, like the Limnos is great. Limnos is a little island. It's a little out in the Aegean. It's out sort of towards that sort of Turkey. It's super stunning, super rural, super beautiful. It's a wonderful area for kids because they can sit and play around on the beach all day. There's Myrina, which is a nice little town, and it means that you can have the stuff that the kids can do and sort of play around on the beach, and then at the same time, like, the adults can go and do sort of photography and things like that. The holidays that we do are, you know, they're very photography heavy, and so it has to be something where, you know, if the whole family are into photography, they'll get the best value out of it. Yeah. But something like the Limnos one or like the Athens one, where there's stuff for the kids to do as well, will be better rather than something like the Thessaloniki to Athens, which is, it's more of like a sort of epic photography road trip, and it's something that maybe because we're sort of moving on from, you know, place to place, might not be something the kids are that keen on, and